Alphabet, or what pretty much everybody calls them, Google. I've mashed together this video because apparently you're supposed to know a thing or two about how a company works before you invest. So here you go. By the way, not financial advice, nor do I have any interest in this company. I'm just trying to speed up your research. But first, quick tangent here. Why can't you just change your name to Google? I mean, nobody refers to you as Alphabet. It's just Google. This is your stock symbol. Like, bruh, just use Google, please. Either way, let's get into their projects before we talk about their past performance and end it off with talking about their revenue. Starting off with software, they have the Google Assistant, which is pretty much better than all of the other assistants, except maybe Alexa. From what I can tell, those two are kind of neck and neck, but as for the others, they're not even in the same league. It's kind of crazy. Their assistant is available on their smart home lineup, on all Android phones, and also on the App Store. Yes, the Apple App Store. Another product they have is Google Lens, which pretty much allows you to take a picture or something in real life and then just find it online, which is kind of actually useful. They also have Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Maps, Mail, Transit, and a lot of other cool stuff that a lot of people use daily. A more recent project that they released is their own AI called Bard, which is their direct competitor to ChatGPT. From what I've read, ChatGPT is still kind of better than Bard, but it's still too early to call the fight, so we'll see how that plays out. Speaking of ChatGPT, some people say that this is a massive threat to Google, because if you could just ask an AI for the answer to your question, why would you need to search for anything? And as a result, why would companies pay for search ads, which is a massive part of the revenue, and I'm going to get into how big of a part it is later on. But this level of AI is again super new, so there's a bunch of legal stuff, also there's a bunch of misinformation stuff, so we'll see how that plays out, but for now, it's just a mystery. But also at the same time, let's keep it real. Google's just gonna adjust, and we're also just gonna find a way to monetize AI, because we live in this capitalist society. If you're saying that we won't find a way to make money off of AI, you're just kind of crazy. Like, that's an insane statement. Some physical products they have is the Pixel lineup and also the smart home stuff. And a new addition to the Pixel lineup this year was the Pixel Watch. While they definitely offer more products, these are the big ones, so let's get into revenue. Google Search and other can be broken down into a few main segments. There is Google.com, Gmail, Maps, and they also have the Google Play Store, which is the Google App Store. There are YouTube ads, which are YouTube ads. Google Network is AdMob, which think of as ads on mobile games. They also have AdSense and Google Ad Manager. That's all for Google advertising. Google Other is Play Store purchases, hardware like Pixel and Fitbit devices. There's also YouTube non-advertising revenue, for example, stuff like YouTube Premium and YouTube TV, as well as some other stuff. And the last major segment is Google Cloud, which, by the way, includes Gmail, Docs, Drive, Calendar, in addition to other enterprise solutions. By the way, here is a list of some of their big industrial consumers. Looking at all this, you can see that a lot, in fact, the vast majority of the money comes from advertising. To be specific, 80%. Stock performance wise, I'll compare it to Meta, aka Facebook, and also the S&P 500 index. Over a 1-year time frame, the S&P is kind of steady. Google takes a dip but then recovers, and lastly, Meta just starts to rocket shit up, and they're followed by the S&P and then last Google. Looking back at the last 5, they're kind of all together until Google near the end of 2020 goes up, and Meta just takes a massive nosedive. They slowly level off while the S&P in the middle of the pack just shows consistent, steady growth. When you look back over a decade, Meta just decides to go absolutely ham, outpacing all of the others. They take a massive dive near the end, but recover pretty quickly. By the way, they cracked over 1,000% over 10 years, just in case you didn't notice. Google and the S&P are kind of doing the same thing, but Google just has a little more of a bump and ends off a little more ahead of the S&P. The revenue has risen consistently. A number I'm going to start to include is compound annual growth rate, which is basically going to tell you how much the revenue has increased year over year. And for Google, it's 16%. Net income follows a different storyline here. They're growing steadily until 21, where they just explode, but then they decrease in 22. But when you look at 2022 to 2020, you can see that the net income it's a substantial increase, so they're not crying about it. By the way, the compounded annual growth rate is 14%. I'll insert all 3 financial statements here. Here is the income statement for 22. The balance sheet here shows both the end of 22 and also the end of first quarter 23, because there's no point in showing you a balance sheet that's out of date. But also be careful, because the 23 One is it's not been audited, and also here is the cash flow statement. Remember, the future is unpredictable, and while the past may provide excellent information, you never know what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15, 20, even a year from now. You never know. Looking at Google with a macro lens, you can see that they're a very successful company. I mean, they've literally become a part of the English language. They became a verb. It's crazy. I made a video about AMD, which will be a bit different. Please like, sub, and also comment what you guys want to see next. Thanks.